It's so important. You have to be in person and all the way.
That's right. These two presences.
That's the only plat.
That's the only one, yeah.
Okay. Guys here on the road that washed out.
Yes, they are.
Okay, well. Anything, other quick things? What are you here for? Okay.
We've got Comore Loma on there, but we can do that at the end, so. Just to talk about the lighting district. Okay, we can do that at the end.
Yeah, let's do the Forest Service.
Okay. On up.
Here.
Here's one over here, or pull a chair up on the corner with whatever's best for you.
I'll send it to my official.
There you go. So did the road get worse last night?
That's what we were just talking about. Probably didn't help.
So we went out there yesterday with the Forest Service and looked at it. It's not a quick fix. The Forest Service is here to kind of talk a little bit more about what the agreements are on whose road it is. The Forest Service's agreement evidently states that it is a county road. And that means it's our jurisdiction. That means it's our cost to repair. That was news to me, but it did bring up a couple other questions for me. I do have a copy of the Schedule A agreement. The latest one with the road names. Roads were signed by the commissioners in 2019. The road project agreement that deals with the Schedule A. As I was reading through that, it was the first Schedule A road maintenance agreement was signed back in 2013. Is that?
Oh, no, we've had this good for quite a while.
Okay. So I went through and I found a copy of it. There's one item in there though that brings up a question to me is in the agreement on the second page. The cooperator, which is Bonneville County, shall bill the U.S. Forest Service for actual costs incurred not to exceed $212,000. And I guess to my knowledge, well, so there was a match on a grant to do Palisades Creek Road that we got $212,000 for. There was some money that we got from the Forest Service to pay Bear Creek Road in the first place. But outside of that, I don't know that the county has ever sent a bill to the Forest Service for these Schedule A maintenance roads.
What's the title of the document you're looking at? I'm just curious. Is that the
It's
road?
road project agreement between Bonneville County and Forest Service. Project title Bonneville County Schedule A road maintenance.
And the date for that one? That's
This one was signed in 2015.
Yeah, so this project agreement actually fell under,
2017.
yeah, fell under the previous Schedule A agreement. So there's two different agreements. There's a main head Schedule A agreement, which is where the roads list, that's a supplement to that.
Yeah, and that's what this is.
No, this is a project agreement. So you have that main head agreement that coupled with the road list, that's what we call the Schedule A agreement. Then what that agreement allows us to do is then we can create these project agreements on the roads that are on the road list. And that's how we transfer funding back and forth. So back in the ARRA days, that's when we did all of the graveling work and that. within Bonneville County. And if I remember right, this $212,000, that's back when the county went in and we did some upgrading to the road across the dam, I think. Well, there was some road work done on that section, and then on the Bear Creek section where the slide actually is, to bring that up to a better standard, because BOR was going to close down the dam access. And I remember the exact timing of when the bridge was actually completed, but we didn't, when we wrote this up, we didn't have access across the bridge yet. And so, but we were anticipating the bridge's completion. And so this was to help provide some additional funding in support of upgrading the current road prior to it going through the flat process.
So the document that Tom's talking about, that kind of overarching thing, that's cooperative road management agreement, maintenance
Yep,
agreement.
cooperative road.
And the Schedule A is the attachment to that agreement, and that is redone every 5 years. And that's been something we've been doing with you. That is that umbrella that allows us to transfer money for project agreements, and that's what that is talking about. So that 212 was hopefully billed to the Forest Service.
Yeah, pretty sure we paid it out.
Well, and that's where I'm uncertain about
Yeah.
it, because in my Schedule A folder here, I mean, this is Bonneville County Schedule A road maintenance. And it talks in here about billing for 212,000, but it doesn't have a time frame associated with it, whether it's an annual bill or whether it's something that was just a one-time
It was just a
deal.
one-time project specific.
Under the umbrella of that larger agreement, that's how we transfer money.
And so right here, where this says the Forest Road Agreement, the 14R011, that's the main scheduling agreement that was executed between the parties December of 13.
And we redid it in 19, which is the most current one.
Yeah, and
Well,
we're actually up
that's-
to, we're actually up to renew it this year as well.
And this is the 19 version. I mean, in 19, the list of Schedule A roads was updated and signed.
Yeah.
But the rest of the agreement wasn't.
Yeah, so I think there's still confusion. So
That's what I'm trying to
Yeah.
right.
understand.
So-
what-
So we have a Schedule A, it's cooperative road maintenance agreement. That's the main head. There's no monetary transfer. There's no nothing. What it essentially states is that either party agrees to that if should funding become available, either party could work on the sections of roads listed on the attached road list, which is this road list. And that's the main head. Then whenever we get money, or even if the county got money, and we've done this, you know, we bought bridges and the counties install, or the county buys a bridge and we install, those types of trades are allowed under the main head. And that's created by writing up the project agreement that is beneath the main head. So this goes with the main head up here, and then you have the project agreement that is underneath it.
For specific things.
So
For
what
a
was this
specific, this was for a specific project,
But it-
right? So that title, so in here, there should be a list of the roads and what the 212 was paid for. Because we have to put in the specifics. I apologize.
It just says Schedule A road maintenance. It doesn't have a specific.
So there's salaries for road and bridge employees, 10 employees for 105,000. And there were some for county vehicles and the heavy equipment, and so we have to list that stuff out. And I'd have to go back and look at my documentation, but I know that this was directly related to upgrading the Bear Creek Road for after the bridge.
So the
opened up.
212,000. I have a copy of a $12,000 bill, but it was specific to Palisades Creek Road, widening prepare for oil. That was the only invoice.
So, yeah, so it's my guess that this Palisades Creek Road, that's one of them potentially that was on the list. That's why I'll have to look at our documentation.
Palisades Creek is on the list of Schedule A roads.
I mean, on the list under the project agreement.
Okay. That's why I'm confused about in the Schedule A maintenance agreement. I don't, right now, I'm not seeing the benefit to the county.
Well, so the benefit is that the county, if the county performs maintenance on a certain standard level of roads, then you can go to the state of Idaho and get reimbursed for that work
On public.
on public roads. That's the big benefit for the county.
Goes into your road mile formula. for the state.
And how, I guess I'm unsure about the revenue associated with that versus the expenditures.
It's probably not a moneymaker. The real question comes from, because that's for the routine maintenance. The real question is what happens with a disaster like this?
Well, and that's,
That'd blow our whole road bridge budget. We probably just have to close that until we could come up with money.
Well, yeah, and I'd like to understand why that's a county road.
So
There's no full-time residents up there.
It's
No.
designated a county road under the Schedule A.
actually, this
Actually, there's an
easement,
easement for it.
yeah, it's
Oh,
from
is there?
1985, this easement. And it includes Fall Creek Road is one of them. And all the Bear Creek.
So this is a little different.
This is something that's been in place since 85. And so I don't,
the easement for
the
it, yeah.
easement.
Okay.
But I'm still not sure that I understand when something like this happens.
The Schedule A on this particular one, that allows us, we could collect the revenue anyway, whether it's on Schedule A or not. But then it's completely the responsibility of the county instead of the cooperative thing of the Forest Service to come up with some monies on something like this.
Well, and that's what I'm hearing is that it is completely responsible county to fix this. And so I'm trying to
Unless,
understand it.
unless through the Forest Service, there's some disaster funding that we can work together to try to.
Talking about it yesterday, it didn't seem like that was a good potential.
So there's two different disaster funding resource. There's ERFO and then there's the ER.
Yeah.
So ERFO would be for federally, if this was a federal road, Forest Service road, then we would apply for ERFO funding. If it's a county road, then you will have to apply for ER funding, emergency relief funding. I think that's what that's meant.
Through LTAC.
Through LDOT.
And LTAC has emergency funding, but it's up to $100,000.
What's this gonna cost?
It's gonna cost substantially more than
Oh,
$100,000.
I understand that, but are we talking several million? What are we talking?
So the geotechnical engineer, I mean, we're talking probably over $1 million.
Yeah, but that would be the starting point in our, and that's really a guesstimate. So we requested that our regional transportation engineer come up from Ogden, and he met with us yesterday. He has extensive experience in these types of failures. And so,
And he believes it's
Yeah.
over $1 million.
yeah,
Are we under an obligation to open that road up, to repair that road?
That's a good question, and I'm not, I don't know that I have the answer for that.
Because
It's like
I
any,
would be inclined to close the road,
it's like any other county road.
but we don't have anybody living up there full
Well,
time.
you do have the residents in the Calamity and Palisades summer homes, so that's on, those are private residences on federal permitted lots
But we've given building permits to.
that you guys, that you guys oversee. And maybe that's why it was part of the easement in the first place, I'm not sure.
Probably so that they could get the building. This that part predates me, but you know, they relied on this to get a building permit up there. So you'd have an issue.
So is there zero option of reopening the dam road and interim while we try to get this worked out?
So totally not our decision, the Forest Service. I mean, that would be the Bureau of Reclamation, but my understanding is that would take a very high level of approval.
And you've got that slipping off.
On the dam side, yeah.
Yeah, on that little.
We actually drove that yesterday, and I was able to, in full size pickup, I was able to drive to essentially the end of the pavement right there at the intake on the dam. So to get it into a fully operational public road would take a lot of work. But to get it as like a emergency access for those homes, I think it would just take some shaping. Not some
Because it quit sloughing. Is that whole?
It's still
hillside
moving.
just-
Yeah, it's still moving, but not as much as it did those first probably 3 years. You know, there was some pretty extensive.
But that's when the water was low.
Yeah, well,
That's what caused it.
Yeah,
and so, yeah, I mean, it's,
they had the water pretty pressure on it. Once
Yeah.
that was gone, it just started sliding.
that's one of those, it's hard to predict what would happen, you know, with the reservoir is close to full now, and if we end up draining it through the irrigation season, who knows what could happen, but
It gets full, then it saturates that top. and then the-
Yeah, that makes it worse.
So the other piece of this particular road where the slide is the flap agreement. So that whole paving it, it could only happen if it was under the county's jurisdiction. It couldn't be a Forest Service road.
If we did get money for the Forest Service that we use directly to help pay for that. And
Your
if there was another invoice in there for $500,000 that we did get from the Forest Service to do that paving operation.
Well, give us some time to kind of look and see what kind of other, because I think Brad was talking about some type of emergency.
Yeah.
Money outside, you know, tack. From storm.
I'm not an expert, but there is, just reading the documentation, there is the opportunity if the governor declares an emergency, they have a minimum project level of 750,000, which you can apply for through LTAC. So
And that's if the governor gets involved.
Yeah.
The normal,
Roger's got his number.
Okay, he's got my number. No,
we're going to see multiple events like this.
yeah, because of the winter. And I think that's what Brad was talking about, because of the harsh winter and how it's been, there's some funding open. You
I
know,
think we would have a good chance of getting that.
yeah, because I mean, you've got to explain the federal funding and funds back there, the access to the hundreds of thousands of acres of recreation.
dock,
Yeah.
yeah, that's the only deep water program on the reservoir.
Yeah.
So when it's low,
That's how,
and you have the boat club further up Bear Creek.
see, that's how it got the funding for the bridge and for the road, is because of all of those factors. It was a key area. Just have to start digging and begging.
What does that look like to repair something like that? I mean, that's hundreds of loads of fill, right?
Well, yeah, so,
that's one of the methods to do it is
yeah,
you
I
excavate it all out
Yeah.
and you start with a surface that's relatively stable and you build up from there. We've done similar type of things on a much smaller scale on River Road. we've done that, it's just, it hasn't been as big of a landslide as this was.
Is there a possibility and this gets into the forest of going outside the easement, and going into the
It
hillside
already has.
and put it?
Well, and we talked about that with the geotechnical engineer, but looking at this, he said that's the first thing that normally look to do, but with the hillside the way it is, how steep it was, he did not recommend that as a viable option.
I think you'd end up just putting truckload after truckload after truckload, and it's just gonna continue to go down, and eventually it would plug Tag Alder Creek, and I think the solution is you're gonna have to have some kind of a retaining wall structure constructed. Now, the size and dimensions and whether it has to be the full length or the full height, there would have to be kind of a formal geotechnical engineer assessment and design related to that. My guess is you would go in there and like a mechanically stabilized earth and fill wall. Are you guys familiar with that at all? That's where you have a flat layer and you basically, it looks like depredation fence that you put in there and you anchor it all together, and then you put a layer of material on top of that, and then you put another layer of that fencing, and it's all attached to a facade. And that's what builds the strength as you move up. The big key is the bottom layer has to be anchored to something. And that's why you have to have a formal geotechnical assessment, is to determine what's needed, whether you have to do soil nails, or you can tie into there is rock there. You know, it could be as simple as anchoring into that rock. Or
This might be something we have to get our congressional people involved with, looking at a special appropriation, because that's how they got the bridge.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because other than that, that whole country was shut off. We closed that for 9/11.
Yeah.
So it's a complex deal.
So, in the short term, we have, all those residents calling and wondering how they can get in. And we do have, some options. There's an ATV trail. I don't know if that's on here. That we have, it's an old road that could maybe be
Should be right there. I think.
utilized.
We've already heard from somebody. who
Yeah,
said
Oh, yeah.
they use it,
Yes.
but they don't want anybody else to.
Oh, yes, I've heard from those people too. I love that. It's too much noise. It's not, if we use it, yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. So anyway, that's, an option to get vehicles in, get those people into their cabins. They're probably not gonna be able to pull a trailer. And it may,
And even that is, so I drove up to it and looking at where it comes back onto this road, and it's pretty steep and would be a challenge for most people in cars to use that without some significant work there.
and I think that's, one option is to improve that. And then,
For temporary use.
well, I
Or
don't, it's a Forest Service road, but we'd have to figure out, I mean, we don't have much of a crew that could do that, but that's an
But
option.
you know a guy who knows a guy.
So there's that, and then the other thing we talked about is the 1-lane option.
Yeah.
And
Well, and making through this, if we put up concrete barriers and made it a single lane option
Where
road
the slide is,
where the slide is,
until we can get it.
until we, it's not a quick fix.
How long is it?
Probably close to 200 feet long.
And you can see the other end,
You can see the other end fairly
so that would
easily.
make it pretty good for a one-way. Would that be safe though? I mean, is there any chance that could slide further?
Yeah, there still is a chance that it's gonna slide further. I mean, there is that chance.
what we heard yesterday was, it's probably gonna be okay.
Yeah.
I really like that.
I like
Just go ahead, no,
that.
you
Yeah.
can.
I'm not willing to okay a road like that,
And that's,
even for one vehicle, if there's a chance.
Well, part of
I
the
guess
issue
they
with
killed
the
one.
locator is to see if it
Supposed to rain this whole weekend, so.
You said this rainstorm that way. This discussion.
I'm headed that general direction. I'm gonna run up and look at it this afternoon.
Why don't we all we'll talk to Brad when he gets back, as far as funding. Maybe find a way to reach out to if there is LTAC with the governor's designation.
Well,
Reach
and
out there.
I'll reach out to that TAC first with just the $100,000. That might be enable us to at least get some geotechnical engineering and design work done. So I can do that for her. It's going to be on there. It's something that I don't know where that's the right person. So.
Okay, let's all go back and huddle,
Okay.
maybe we can come in again next week.
Come across
To
it.
kind of have
They say there's
a frequent update to keep it moving. and then
The original
figure out
site that
who's
was
gonna do
road used to come
what.
across.
Yeah,
actions.
so we did put out the press release saying it happened and
This
the road was
whole
closed.
section should
It's not,
have
like, we don't have it, in order to enforce a closure there of that road, we would have to do a closure order. Since it's not really our road, there isn't one in place. And I don't know if that's something,
We've got class 3 barricades up. We've got 2 of them at Snake River Road. Yeah, it would take a share.
Yeah.
this-
but I think the public's
this road
looking for
doesn't-
another update,
it's
you
going,
know,
yeah, from
we kind of
here
said
to-
we're trying to evaluate it. So
That's Class 3, is that the cement?
No, it's not the cement, but it's got Telspar base and 3 plastic signs and it's about 8 foot wide.
So they could move it.
So that way-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have.
the first question was, well, what's the fine if I go around?
Gate right here,
It's not fine to go around.
but. This way.
Anyway,
Anyway,
okay.
but so I just, that's something we can help with, and if,
Well, and I think Brad Clemens helped with that.
he did.
And so I don't know whether Brad Clemens, I mean, you said he was gone.
Yeah.
He's back.
Is he back? He's in Maryland. He's at some.
So if he can work on a press release that says, I guess, for the short term, I don't know how long, this road is gonna stay closed. Because we're just not sure.
So what are you telling the public that it's
That we were gonna meet today.
Letters number, right?
side by side access only?
Yeah, there-
The access only through.
There's the
road?
ATV access, and that's open now, so
Okay.
people can get up there that way.
But it's gonna take probably a month or two before you can determine if you can do the one lane.
And then once the snow melts over Elk Jensen, people could get in that way. Again, not maybe very easily with a trailer or a boat.
Yeah. Well, are we probably a couple weeks away from that opening up?
Yeah, we drove all the way up. We went past the gate, we went as far, but we didn't get to the trouble section. It's still under snow.
Is that the one up top?
Yeah.
Yeah, right there, right before the summit, there's 3 chutes that they give away every year.
Yeah.
We also did drive down the ATV trail, and I agree with the assessment that we could probably upgrade it to get passenger car vehicles, but not trailers, but it'll take substantial work. We're gonna have to put some aggregate out there. Like, I went down it yesterday, this morning with the rain, I wouldn't go back down it just because of the type of material there. But we do have access to aggregate right there,
That gravel
A
flat.
whole bunch.
a whole
In
bunch.
fact, I saw the equipment down there and thought maybe you were already harvesting aggregate to
So is that a possibility of?
a couple of dump trucks.
Yeah, we put some out on that.
Did that to get some of that gravel?
Yes.
Okay.
It's the BOR's gravel, but we're using it for the improvements in gravel flats. And they said we could have 2/3 of the pile, and we're not gonna put that kind of a dent in it, so.
It still concerns me based on what you said that road's like, that we get somebody in there that doesn't know how to drive, it's the road, we'll get them in trouble. you
And it's
know?
single lane, that's the other.
It's
It's a-
We would have to build turnouts, like.
That really, I think we've got some liability there. If we tell them this is a safe way to drive
Yeah,
in.
just ATV only. I mean, we
Yeah.
have the same issue in the winter up here.
roads out on the lake.
But we could permit one.
Yeah, we could probably work on
Operate.
We need a side hustle, John.
No, I just know how cranky people are, and if you say, well, you know, there's a ferry service, you know, it's a $100 round trip for a vehicle, they do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want to see traffic there. No, I like the feel
Like slide past our fence. There's a story about this. You know, I'm the point like this, I have 3 bad days in a row.
Yeah.
And I kept telling them, every time I have a bad day, I'm gonna pull them in.
It's empty, I'm leaving.
And they're all seeing it.
He keeps filling it back up. So let's take care of the day.
It was full yesterday. Yesterday.
That's why we're stumbled. You have 3 bad days in a row.
We were with him on the one, when he went bouncing down there. And then okay,
All right, well,
well, I'll put a few back then. If it works. Okay,
And we'll continue to work with Lance and support in any way we can. I do think just where it is, the county jurisdiction, I think it's important for the county to put out some kind of a press release in conjunction with us, but I think it needs to come from the county rather than from the Forest Service.
we get Brad.
Kayla's gonna find out when Brad will be back, or
I think it's next week after.
we may need him to do it from over there then.
and we can work with him, however, to
Yeah.
get it out or whatever
Okay.
needs to happen.
Okay.
All right,
You're welcome to listen to what we're doing next, because we're gonna list that. At the end of policy. For sale.
okay, I might listen.
Keller Williams. Russ represents, we've selected Keller Williams for the listing agent because they have well, you give a sales pitch idea for you. Come, pull up here, Steve.
Yeah.
Okay, Russ.
Okay, so I have a couple of questions for it. So one of the reasons Keller Williams, I've been with Keller Williams for a while, been a real estate agent for a long time. One of the best things about Keller Williams is the power that we have here is when we go to list a property, it immediately goes on, when it hits the MLS, our local MLS, it populates to over 700 different websites, just like that. So our ability to reach people, one of the things that we do too, that we're allowed to do it with is a little bit of target marketing with Facebook stuff, and that we could send those to different people. So right now, the majority of those that are coming here are Texans, Washington, and California. We won't talk about whether
Maybe we won't.
you like those or not. This is a little bit more unique in which we won't actually send, our first target is to keep it in the family. And so it's more of Idaho-based stuff is what we'll target for the first little bit with that. Having said that, I have a couple of questions about this property. I haven't been up there, but I understand topography is a little bit interesting.
It's steep.
Okay, first, we need to find out how accurate the map is.
It's good.
Okay, so.
The property line is really that far back.
Flat part,
Yes. It is.
because there is a flat grassy part that a lot of people have been using for parking.
And most of that is what's in the right of way.
Nearly flat grassy spot that's.
Zoom in a little more so we can see the property line. Because the question was, somebody that was looking at it, if they could put a fence along the property line and have enough behind there, that they could pull a train. And leave it all summer.
Unless you keep your trailer on
It's
a 45-degree slope.
So where does the flat end in that property line?
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. Is this flat 30 here then?
No,
That's-
that's steep as well.
Where does the slope start? Go in a little closer.
Fly up the canyon.
In that area, I'd say it's inside the right of way before it gets flat. Yeah. So when that was platted, that the Palisades Creek Road from center line was platted 50 foot back on this side.
Because of the slope.
Well, I don't know exactly why, but it was 50 foot from center line was platted right away. And on the other side of the center line, there's 30 foot. That's why it measures 80 foot wide through there.
Okay. These are questions somebody's gonna ask.
Yeah, no question. And because I haven't been up there as far as, so we're gonna attempt to sell it as a building site. Is that my understanding?
It does qualify for a building permit.
It's eligible to be built on. Somebody would have to get creative, but there's steeper areas that have been built on up there than what this is. So you can do it. It's not impossible. It's just gonna take some work to be able to build on that.
In fact, one person that's interested, that once we listed, we'll give it to you, is a builder that has already built a home down in there, so he's very familiar with it.
And obviously, the way that it crosses the road there, tell me the closest you could put a house or something there is where?
30 feet
From,
from the edge of the right of way is the property line.
so is that edge of the right of way, is that, and this is on your GIS, right? So how accurate is that side of the
Pretty
road?
accurate.
Okay,
That's the real steep part, because you'd have to get up that, just so we can show them the area that when you look at the topography, that you may be able to get a building site kind of top, because there are a couple canyons in there.
Well, let me pull it up on Connect, see if I can pull it up
So,
on
I mean,
Connect.
Yeah, those where it crosses road, that's still steep there. It looked like there was a flat area there, maybe. And you don't take but 2 steps off the edge of the road, and it's so steep. Yeah. The other thing is the county has recorded an easement on that far east side to maintain access into the Palisades Creek campground and trailhead. 60 feet of that well.
and does that show on the plan?
It does not show on the plat, because that's a separate document that was just.
Funny thing is, at the end, it's not really using space.
Right. And you're saying, and as the road here, you're saying someone is 30 feet back from here, but none of this is actually counted as. Right,
No, well, from the right of way line to the setback 30 feet.
yeah, as far as over here, there's nothing.
Yeah,
That way.
pretty much not usable because of that easement.
Okay.
Because the easement, because of setbacks, you won't be able to use that little corner one way or another. 30 feet back from that easement as well.
Would it work for an entry of a driveway?
I mean, you can put driveways over easements. So
I mean,
there's
flooding wise,
there's not a lot of room there. There's only 79.5 feet on that east side before it cuts back west. Not a lot of room to make a switch back in this there. And that would be a very tight switchback to try to come back the other way. And there's already a road through there to get back to the trailhead.
So I actually have someone wants to run up with me in a helicopter. I've got that arranged. If we can run up there when we go to get it listed, then we can run up to the helicopter. If somebody wants to ride with us. Go there.
she's familiar with
Okay.
all that up there. And I don't know, because there's, what are you trying?
I've got it on Connect Explorer, but I just can't share it. It won't let me.
Okay, I was gonna ask that. Contact info as far as water. So you can obviously do your own well, right?
Yeah, you
You're
can
gonna
do
make-
your own well and stuff, but
Well, you can opt out of the water system, that's the homeowners association water system. They have agreed to let somebody opt out of that.
Okay.
If you opt into it,
hang on just a
it
second.
is,
let me do this.
what, over 2,000 feet
2,000 feet.
away from, yeah. And it is a long way if they were to opt into it. It would be closer from the top cul-de-sac, but that is, I mean, you're going down and then back up another valley to get across it.
If you're running from their central water system,
Yeah, well, from inside the subdivision.
okay.
And I'd have to get an easement across lot 2.
Well, that doesn't have a property line.
Okay.
It does not have.
There's a survey.
But that's the-
If there is an actual survey that's done on the property from when they did the subdivision. So if you click on it in the parcel viewer, it shows the other lines going back.
What'd you say?
So if you go into parcel viewers, and then you click on the information, there's actually a survey that Ellsworth, I think, did for the subdivisions connecting to it. And
It shows the.
I don't know if it shows the contours, but here's a picture of what. But the property lines are back like where it's really steep. This is all easement.
Probably.
Might get a closer look on the ground, that canyon's pretty steep, you know.
If you want to fly up and then our turnout is busy.
Want me to email this to you?
Okay, let's put it on the screen there.
In the meantime, you know, we did some measuring, and this will show you where the well lot is and how far it would be to get up there, and also the other areas you could probably drill your own well.
Okay, what about the power? It's closest utility.
There's a power line that goes through the front of the easement. I think it's connected to right by where the creek is.
Okay, so the well lot.
Do you want me to zoom out a little bit?
Yeah, zoom out a little bit. Okay, the well lot. Yeah, right there.
And that's over 2,000 feet.
To run it up through the road right away, you'd have to go deep enough. You know, so that'd be expensive. But there's room. I don't know how deep the water is, but closer to that triangle end of it, there's a place you probably.
Oh, that's
Close to that easement.
But we'd have to get an easement across.
To hook to the community.
To hook to the community water, but if you're just doing your own well,
Right.
Show them where you thought they could do their own well.
it would be up at the top, in this top triangular piece, that's kind of where it flattens out.
You mean up at the top where it's the Forest Service or whatever?
Top left corner.
Did you feel like it flattened out up there? That's what the easements show, like it.
It's just a small section, probably maybe 12 feet, and they have the sign there, entrance into the park.
Oh, no, I'm talking top,
The
so
very
top
top?
left, right
I
up
didn't-
there. Where I just put the
Oh,
bar.
I don't
like a
think you'd
peak,
ever
there's-
get railroad up
There's
there.
a peak, I don't see how you can do it there.
So it's steeper than.
It's
what the
like if I'm standing here and I walk up to it, it goes like this. I mean, it goes straight.
Leveling off the other side.
Yeah.
I mean, you could build there, but it was, I mean, there'd be a lot of excavating.
That's what I say, it's buildable, but you're gonna have to get somebody who's willing to come in and level it out
A
and
lot.
figure out how to engineer it to make it safe there. It's.
Okay.
Which happens all over up in that area. We have tons of homes that are built like that.
So if you were to, would you know, and maybe John, would you know like a couple comparable places that I could say, hey, just so you know, this is possible. If you look at this address and this address that we could go.
As where we are, we put the sale price when we advertise, but it doesn't get very widely distributed at 90. Probably, probably a starting bid, but we can set a third party that's outside of this that can take those offers, you know, any offers and bring them to us.
Sure. Because I've never done a county property, is there a time frame as far as, so if we put it out there and say, hey, you need to give your bids by 30 days, 60 days, is there anything? Well, normal listing wise, there's no pressure as far as timing wise to get that done. So if you're like, hey, we gotta get this off our plate fast, then I would say we could push that a little bit, like 30 days or 45 days.
Depends, I mean, if you're gonna take bids and take the best offer, or you just gotta list it and bring it to us one at a time. So that's what we have to.
Decide, and we can do either way.
We're not bound to take best offer, right? I think first person that comes to you with a good earnest money and a reasonable offer, I think we sell it.
I think we talked to you on site whether it's reasonable.
Yeah, first reasonable offer, I would think we sell it. I don't think we want to get in.
You know, we say, well, it's not quite reasonable enough, so we decline it and make it come back with
Yeah.
another offer.
Yeah, I mean, like if I'm looking at lots that have actually sold in that area up to Palisades, and I can do a report on all of these. I just need a little bit more information. I mean, there's stuff that's listed at 70, sold for 50, and that's less acreage, but it's a buildable, walk right in and go, 1.21 acres. So, and I can, as far as active stuff.
So rough guess, what would you think, Russ? $30,000 or?
I would say, I would see if there's any way we can get 50 to start with, because somebody's coming in, these others have access to water. So right now, active wise, I'm looking at a couple of comps. There's one that's listed at 112, one that's listed at 114.
The homeowners association is interested to just set it aside as a common space.
There's most all of these other ones are like, here you go, it's pretty
Ready to go.
easy, we're coming in, we're hooking up. Some of them, a couple of them have where you're gonna do your own well, but for the most part, it's just simple and flat. There's not a lot of,
We better get what we can out of it, even if it is 10 or 20,000. I mean, we've got some road repairs we gotta do up there in that area.
Yeah.
Over by the lake.
That won't pay his gas up there. No, but that's, so you understand what the parameters are.
Yeah.
And what do you think for a starting? Because there is another builder who's very familiar with it that has a house in the subdivision that's interesting.
And those subdivision lots, at least from what the HOA lady told us, are going for like 150 to 200,000 in that subdivision. But I don't know if she was just dreaming or if that's really what they
Those
sold.
are the recent sales, or I mean listings.
Yeah.
The price at 48,000 or something.
Most of those other lots have a building.
Yeah, they're flatter for sure.
They've got the water.
yeah, because is that the Snake, or the Swan Valley Palisades LLC, is that what you're talking about?
Palisades Bench, yeah, subdivision.
Oh, but are they're under an LLC though,
Some of them are,
my
yeah.
guess is. Okay.
One good amenity is it's probably good sledding. You know,
No,
That's a great park at the height of the lakes.
So here is,
I already got one of those up the ball.
well, and maybe one of the things I could do is I'll look up who owns lot 2 and make sure they know about it, because a lot of times when we're adjacent, you know, they're like, hey, we don't want to have anybody playing with us here. And so I could certainly look that up and find that out. There is one here that I can see that's listed in on-call sales bench that's listed at 250. It's been on the market 199 days, but. Yeah, here's one at 275. It's been listed for 104 days. So
They're not moving.
yeah, that isn't. That shows that's sold.
I would say at least start at 75 or something, and then you can always come down.
Don't we have I'm pretty sure, don't we have a gate on that trailhead road?
No,
It's not gated,
it's not used,
okay,
not right here, anyway.
or maybe above there, I don't know, it seems like we had a gate.
By the bridge. Because I think we've got at least 3 individuals that are interested. But the tough thing about is it doesn't fit through by being able to pull a trailer.
Yeah.
And leave it there, but you can't do that in the center.
And this guy that's in lot 2, how is his? Is he built on it or anything in there? Doesn't show.
Yeah, go out and we'll show the other cul-de-sac, because that's where the Forest Service.
Yeah, there's no buildings on these other two this direction.
They're just starting, and that's what's causing the problem out there. Because everybody that used to go hunt, that's up there in parks, it's into the forest. Go up to the end where it goes into the next property at the top. Okay, right there at the top where it does that little candy cane curve. That's the access, platted access to the forest. And that's where people come park in Hill Township, park in front of everybody's place. That's why we put the no parking. And I don't know what kind of access you allow.
I didn't even, know that was
Yeah.
an access.
You're talking where the white box is?
No.
Right over here.
On the left side.
Oh,
If you zoom in, you'll see kind of a little 2-track up in the forest part.
That's a well.
they're well on.
Yeah, you can see it there.
The well that's down here.
Yeah, once it clears up.
The tanks.
So you can just see how it goes.
Yeah.
There's that little trail there.
I mean, that's not a motorized route, or, I mean, hiking, like they're parking.
Because it is being used for.
Yeah.
And right there, there's 4-wheelers. Up there.
It's a list. Everyone adjacent to the forest is making their own access.
Anyway, that's not recorded. As we want to make it.
It's recorded on the most recent deed, most recent property deeds.
Okay. So if title pulls that for me, I should be able to see that.
Yeah.
Okay, okay, yeah, you're okay with that. Okay,
Okay, so started with 75.
okay, should we bump a little, so you just go at 80 and then make that a nice number?
We'll give you the list of those who.
Okay.
It's just so that keeps it separate from us.
Yeah, no, and then what I'll do is, who actually signs for listing agreement?
It should be the commissioners.
Okay. Timing wise, you guys meet once a week?
Every Wednesday. Well,
Well, for this, 48-hour notice, we do it at 9 o'clock.
Okay.
So if you send it over, we'll get it on the agenda.
Okay.
Approve it. And if you give him a helicopter, I'd almost be tempted for the helicopter ride.
You can fit 4 of us.
State,
Somebody.
a friend that has a helicopter, well, it's a ride.
Yeah.
That's what.
does his name rhyme with oil by chance?
Maybe.
Don't use that. Okay.
Okay, do it at 80 and then we'll go and then I'll coordinate John with you as far as when we can go up there and get that done and then. So once we have the listing agreement done, then you'll send me those names and I'll also contact lot 2 and I'll just reach out to every one of them, just say, hey, this is when it's gonna be officially listed, or it is officially listed. We're ready to first come, first serve and closest first day, 80,000 wins. If you want a discount just today, we might knock out $5,000, but I can't tell you that for sure.
I mean, we'll just see what the market.
And we can always drop the price, we just aren't having that, or, and once again, they can offer too, so. Hopefully lot two also, if he knows there's a little bit of competition, sometimes that motivates people too, so. Okay. Just right next door to it, adjacent to the west there.
Lance Lewis, yeah, it's that lot there.
What is his, when you click on that, see what his mailing address is?
71 Lookout Circle around Idaho.
No, that's his, see where his taxes are going.
But that shows where the taxes are going, because the owner address is 71 Lookout Circle, parcel address 71 Lookout Circle.
So it's probably going to
Oh, really?
I'll look and see if I can find anything else besides that, and
Okay.
shoot it to you if I can.
Mailbox, there's a house there. It's 2 lots.
I think there's.
I think he might have built.
There's several houses.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
click on that house and see if he shows up as, on the one that has the houses built. See if his name's on one of those.
Well, I think he's built a house there. I just think this picture's outdated.
Oh, on that.
I
lot.
think he lives there. That's why it's gonna, yeah, the taxes would reflect that there's probably a house there. It's too high for just the lot.
Because it doesn't show the houses that we're having problems with.
Because
The others parking in front of.
Oh,
the neighboring taxes on the neighboring parcel are about 1,600 less than his. There's gotta be a house there.
In fact, Google Earth shows houses on both those cul-de-sacs.
So he lives there.
we'll take off John's door on the helicopter. He can take you a new picture if you
Yeah.
put in there. So.
Yeah, I think there's
It's
a.
interesting.
That's
That's something you'll want to look at up there. Because,
Okay.
you know, if we don't let.
So this-
So,
It's
turning
on
on
the
the Palisades Creek
back
Road
of
is
the upper
still
one.
gonna
So
be
it's-
okay.
Yeah, so he is adjacent.
Well,
They got a county roads up on there, so it's.
I don't know how we should. Unless you cite it, then
Makes
it's.
it not be alive.
Just think, that's just a favorite place, and you have no room to expand.
So far, that has. Some. So if once they're parking.
Yeah.
Off at once.
Yeah, that's
Okay,
like a bigger
thanks.
part of
All
it.
right.
Thanks, Russ. You coming tonight? 6:30? I'll mark you inactive for another week, another month.
Okay, Bishop.
Let's look at that.
Guess I'm getting you on it. He's been.
Can help with that usually, I'm not sure who that. Braddock.
Yeah.
All
Hopefully
We
they
probably
probably.
could, you know, somebody in the area.
We'll just keep-
I mean, I don't think he would care, is what you're saying, so. I've got it.
Well, there's 3 names up there, so I'll lock up to both those barricades.
I will.
Okay.
Get you the phone, I have a phone number for the BOR, and I did ask them, they thought that would be no problem.
You'll give me a, yeah, you'll email
Email it to you, okay, I'll do that,
it. Thank you.
all right, thank you.
But we're the ones making money on it. It just makes me nervous that we're getting a free helicopter ride. I've seen this helicopter in the news before.
We were in it. Because they keep fire on
Well, I could see that.
Anyway, let's.
Yeah.
So Comore Loma 33 was on the agenda. The reason behind putting it on the agenda is in the rezone finding of fact for the newer part of Comore Loma. We just use the standard language we use for all new rezones, which requires a lighting district. But all of the previous Comore Loma additions, as well as that whole area of Black Hawk up in there, that required streetlights up in there, partially because of dark skies. And the people up there don't really want them. The property owners up there don't want them. They move up there for dark skies, and there's quite a few lots that astronomers and people live up there for that purpose. So in order to stay consistent with what we've done with the previous divisions in the subdivision, I would recommend that we don't require them to do street lighting in the newer portions to be consistent with what we've already done with all the other subdivisions in that area.
That's great, if it keeps us consistent. We should motion to do that.
Probably just, so it's in the minutes.
Okay, that motion. Okay.
So you want to cover things like that, whole what Sunset Ridge will be happening, maybe up there?
Well, I think that falls under the same criteria as what we just,
It
Motion
would,
to,
you
yeah.
just have to do it.
but I'll have to look and see if that's in there, in that rezone finding and the development. We'll make sure, and my goal is, as part of this too, for areas like this, to maybe actually come up with a set criteria of where we require them and where we don't. So we have a policy adopted on that.
Everything on the motion. You could,
Three are ones.
Yeah.
So I had that, and then as an item of discussion, something we probably need to look at in the future. So the property out by the Hammond Field office, I know that the sheriff's interested in maybe purchasing some of that for expansion. I've had a few conversations with Riverbend, and Riverbend mentioned on one of the conversations that if there's any county ag property that we didn't have use for, they may be interested in considering a trade as part of that.
Yeah, we've got some
Palisades Creek Road. So he just asked that I bring it up, that we look at those properties, which I have Trish pull a list that I can bring over and we'll look at to see if there's anything we'd be interested in
I think we should definitely consider that.
on doing some trade there, because they would like some more ag ground.
Sure. Ag ground or more apartment ground? Really?
Yeah, for their
It's cheaper.
more cows, more places to run cows, I think is what they're looking for.
Parcels that big.
We do have a few.
Really?
Yeah, I'll have to look. I barely got it last night, so that's why I didn't really have anything prepared today. I kind of browsed through it, but I'm gonna go through and see if there's any that I'll bring to you, we can discuss, so.
Did you have some stuff like that?
Just a couple updates for you guys from the city of Amman. First one is the council did vote to annex in Riviera Park.
Good.
And that's that large commercial and residential subdivision right across from Costco. So they voted on that last Thursday. So that's 43 acres of commercial, 31 of residential, and they're anticipating a 4-year build out. So that's the Lincoln and hit. We haven't approved the annexation ordinance yet, but probably.
Look like for traffic then. It's gonna be. There's gonna be some challenges with that. And part of my comments was the city of Adams is gonna have to finance that portion of the frontage of on Lincoln Road.
Yeah.
Was that part of the discussion?
Yeah, yeah. And then
That is an illegal restriction for annexation.
the northern portion on 25th East, north of the city of Idaho Falls. Right now, that is still county jurisdiction road. So that northern access and how that ties in is going to be a challenge.
So how, explain to me how far that is. So you go from Lincoln Road, or it's on the east side of Hit,
Yeah.
how far north?
It's on the north to Hit, it goes right north of the entrance, the back entrance to the Costco,
Okay.
and a little bit beyond that.
It goes beyond that. It goes to the access in the gravel pit.
Yeah, it almost goes
Okay,
to
so
those
it's-
gravel
okay.
pit driveways.
Yeah.
So that last little bit though is north of where the city of Idaho Falls annexed. That's what I'm talking about. That most northern section is still under county jurisdiction. So they would have to get an access permit or something through us to do that. And that may need to be ready right now on that most northern.
And they're aware of that. They know this is a interesting situation. We're dealing with the city of Idaho Falls and the county. But we've.
These are all those streets are really reasonable.
Yeah, no kidding.
I don't know about the other road.
But honestly, I think the biggest challenge with this development, is, I think it's well done. They have an anchor tenant already in place. They've got, they have a lot of well-designed apartments there. I think the biggest challenge is their traffic study showed that roundabout needed to change to a traffic signal.
And that is the city of
At the
Idaho Falls.
Costco intersection?
Yes, and here's the problem. They will pay for it. The developer has offered to pay for conversion of that entire intersection to a traffic signal, and the city of Idaho Falls has rejected that. And so,
City of Idaho Falls, not that same. And this project is coming up to have the signal at the other end. They would redo that signal because you can't have signal roundabout
Yep.
signal.
right,
So what changed their mind? Why?
I can't tell you. I mean, it's frustrating for the developer because the developer wants that to be a signal as well. But I think that what will happen is, Idaho Falls will stick with it. They'll say they don't want it to be a signal. And then a few years later, they'll say, you know what, signal would be actually pretty nice here. And the opportunity to have it paid for by a private developer will be gone.
Yeah.
It'll be completely gone.
Do what they're doing now.
Yeah.
They already said where they wanted it to be.
Yeah, they've talked about it being a signal for 2 years.
Who's telling
Is
them?
this
all
the
this?
new guy or the old guy?
It's the same guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ken Few was the one that told me that.
They have not requested that. And what the only objection Kent had was
The access.
the access points. Yeah. And so it's going to be right in, right out on Lincoln. And it's not ideal, but it's not a worst case situation. And then on Hit Road, we always just do whatever Idaho Falls wants. We don't want to manage Hit Road. We don't want to pay for Hit Road. So whatever they say, we do. And that's the way it was with that roundabout. The traffic study warranted a traffic signal. And Idaho Falls says, no, we're going to keep it.
I'll hold my- No, I won't hold my tongue. You know, 'cause that was part of the whole issue when the king took it, removed the flag. Yeah. It wasn't safe. Somebody else. Two, that made it easier to transition to a signal.
And you know what, I'm not gonna, they might change their mind. Before we do developments like this on Hit Road, we require that the developer have an agreement with the city of Idaho Falls. And as soon as they have that, then we start issuing COs. They can start construction on those developments, but we don't issue COs until they've reached an agreement with Idaho Falls. We could do the same with you guys if you'd like. And it's happened before where by the time that agreement comes around, Idaho Falls is requiring something a little bit different than what they said at the beginning.
Trying to get them to use that one at the beginning. And we said, well, we have these big water stores need their property. A lot of that goes straight across because we're far enough away to have the issue. Yeah, before the one is full.
When you guys get improvement drawings.
Well, that's the next question.
Yeah.
What if they want that to be their main access in there?
Well, they do, you mean on the north side?
The far north one won't be their main areas, but it is where a lot of high density residential apartments are. That's where having that as a right in, right out may need to be happening on that far northern end.
Just throwing it out there, you know, if you had that with the amount of traffic coming in there, will you have them put a signal there?
I'm not sure it's spacing on that.
Yeah, I think it would, again, it's the roundabout issue. You know, when you have that roundabout churning all that traffic.
Well, we're gonna turn that Iona Road roundabout into a signal too, so we'll have signal.
Yeah.
So
Makes sense to me.
It would totally.
Hit road intersection signals so that it can be timed with those other
Yeah.
intersections.
And I think this developer would be open to that. So is that portion on county?
That far northern portion
Yeah.
is on county jurisdiction.
But at least
That other piece that they added there.
Yeah, the northern portion.
Yeah.
take a fair look at that, because that's far enough away from the next signal. You know, the reason they're doing that roundabout is because redoing Iona Road, the state is, you know, so they can time those.
Yeah.
You know, is there not enough room to queue without causing a roundabout problem? This would be far enough to queue that way.
You have to look at the spacing of between those two. Yeah, it may not be far enough away from the Iona Road to get another signal in there, to do.
How far away does it have to be?
Usually we've been looking at between a third and half a mile. It's not a half a mile, but maybe, I'm not sure if it's even a third of a mile. For that.
Okay, I think we're done with our meeting.
But anyway,